Hey everybody, hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to another episode of CSGO News. I have been gone for about the past week or so. It's great to be back. As always, let's get right into it. And first off, in some very good CSGO news this week, we have the return of Astralis' very own Dupreeh. As many of you guys know, last week during the ESL1 Cologne Major, he sat out because he had some appendix issues, had to get appendix surgery, was in the hospital for quite some time. He apparently has recovered as he announced this yesterday. He'll be back with the team this week for E-League. So congrats to Astralis' Dupreeh. I'm glad he recovered quite well. Now we will have to check out and see if any of these kinks or pains actually affect his gameplay, but best of luck to him. He is finally back. And then some other pretty big CSGO news this past week. The official WESA Twitter page was deactivated and still is as of right now. Although recent events might have people thinking that Valve was part of this and went after WESA themselves, they probably have not, and WESA is probably still around. Now, a lot of these Twitter pages of these big organizations and accounts that have these semi-hate towards them, a lot of hate towards them. Obviously, WESA being a big conflict in the community, this Twitter page is probably targeted by a lot of those hackers, a lot of those people that are trying to get this page taken down. So they might have done this for either security reasons or either a lot of people reporting this account for spam. So Twitter kind of sometimes falsely bans these accounts. So we do and I can't expect that WESA is still around, but this is probably going to be for a short time being. Only time will tell what actually happened. And this past weekend, we had the North American iBuyPower Invitational, which lacked a lot of top North American teams, especially compared to the last iBuyPower Invitational, which was last spring, which included teams like Luminosity Gaming, Tempo Storm, Liquid, Optic Gaming, and also Renegades. Now, obviously, a majority of those teams are prepping for E-League, and then we had Optic Gaming and Renegades in the last chance qualifier this past weekend as well, or the week before that. So obviously, a lot of those teams could not make it, but it was kind of really cool as well to see that we had some lower tier North American hopes come in as well, such as Team Caliber, Team Prospects. So unfortunately, teams like Prospects and Caliber did not make it to the semifinals. In the semifinals, though, it was TSM who took down Fox quite handily in a 2-0 sweep there, and then Cloud9 who took down Selfless Gaming in incredibly close. Although Cloud9 took this best of 3 series 2-0, I have not seen a 2-0 series this close in a long time. The first map Cloud9 won went into triple overtime, very close there, and then map 2 as well went into a single overtime. So an incredibly close 2-0 series between Selfless Gaming and Cloud9. Selfless showed up to play. They really deserved to take at least one of those maps, but again, a very close and fun series to watch there. And then going on to the finals to win that $10,000 purse was indeed Cloud9, who took down TSM in another 2-0 sweep. This one more quite handily because the first map, although it was very close, 16-14, map number 2 went to Cloud9. I believe it was 16-5. So Cloud9 looking very strong, taking down TSM in the finals, as well as a $10,000 purse. All in all, a very, very quick tournament, but very fun to watch as well. And I know I'm just going to feed the fire here when it comes to NA casting. I myself watched the iBuyPower Invitational. It was not very good. There were a lot of miscues, a lot of missed calls. I remember specifically, in a TSM Fox match where TSM actually got a ninja defuse, and for the longest time, probably about 30 seconds afterwards, the caster didn't even know they got the ninja defuse and was going on about how Fox won that round just barely. So it was not the best casting. I know I'm fueling that fire, but I know when you compare people like Anders and Semler, you cannot beat that kind of casting. Those are casters who have been around for a long time. So I particularly didn't care too much about casting. Again, they're getting a lot of hate. It was a very good tournament though, very good display of talent, but again, a very NA thing to do. And this next story is something I find just shockingly cool and something we might expect to see a lot more in the future, and that's the formation of little youth teams, little youth CSGO teams all around the world. Now, the first one that's been announced was just last week, the Godsent youth team, a full Swedish roster, which was selected from over 3,000 applicants all across the country in a very short amount of time, and I'm very curious to see what the interview process for this kind of thing would have been like, but really cool there. They finalized their roster, again, from over 3,000 applicants, just from a Swedish team. Godsent, not definitely one of the top tier teams in the world, but they still pulled in 3,000 applicants for this kind of thing, so it really shows the hype around these youthful ages that, all these players who want to play CSGO and get into pro CSGO as well. They finalized that down to 5 applicants who actually made the team. Although it's yet to be announced where this team is going to be competing, I cannot wait to see more of these minor leagues pop up all around the world, whether it be North America, Europe, South America, wherever it be, because it's really kind of cool to compare it to, European sports or American sports, where they have these minor leagues where if anyone gets hurt or anyone shows like a stardom, you can just pull them from those minor league teams, put them on your starting squad, and all of a sudden they're, amazing players. They're growing as they go. So it's really cool to see the formation of this from Godsent. I expect this to happen sometime soon with all these teams around the world, and it'd be really cool to see that kind of minor league comparison, whether compared to baseball or whether it works to soccer over in Europe as well, where they pull those teams from lower tier teams, they pull those players. It's a really cool idea, and we did have the final roster come down to Limpone, who is JW's very own little brother. A really big resume booster there. Apparently he's very good as well. We also had Kasi, Kamraten, Shrew, and Arisip. So that finalized roster is all the Swedish roster there for Godsent's youth team, and I really hope that more people announce youth teams sometime soon in the future. And lastly, today in CSGO News, we just have rumors and speculation. So right now, this is unconfirmed, just been hinted at late last night on former Liquid player adreN's stream last night. He hinted at this, a possible roster change coming to Winterfox, where they'll be acquiring him and former Selfless player known as Uber, who left the team, actually quit the roster 5 to 6 weeks ago. Apparently, Winterfox will be picking up former Liquid player adreN and also former Selfless player Uber and dropping their players Lex and Hayes. Now, again, there's a potential here to actually have this happen. A lot of people are questioning why this would happen because, as As you guys know, adreN's former team Liquid, a really good team, placed second in the last major, as well as, Uber's former team Selfless had a really good run this past weekend in the iBuyPower Invitational. Compared to Winterfox, who this past weekend, their current roster has really been struggling in the iBuyPower Invitational this week. They got destroyed in the quarterfinals, the first round, the only game they played there. They did get destroyed by EchoFox 2-0 in a sweep there, but Selfless Gaming did very well. They kind of climbed back in. They made it to the semifinals. They won their first series against Complexity, then lost in a very narrowly lost there to Cloud9 in a best-of-3 series. They lost 2-0, like I said earlier, to Cloud9, but again, one of the closest series I've seen so far. So you have these two former players, adreN from Liquid, Uber from Selfless, teams that are very high up there and been performing quite well as of late now. More so, obviously, Liquid than Selfless, but Selfless still probably a better team than Winterfox. So from the speculative news, we can assume that maybe an offer's out on the table, but again, adreN and Uber probably going through their same heads. The thing we just talked about is why they would downgrade from a team like Liquid or Selfless and down to Winterfox, a team who's really struggling when it comes to playing against higher tier and North American teams. So again, the offer's probably on the table, but that was speculative news for this week so far. And for anyone who wanted to know, I did announce the 5 winners of the $500 giveaway that I hosted last week, brought to you by CSGO Sweep. The $500 giveaway for 5 knives, all worth over $100 each. I have announced those winners. If you guys have not received a DM on Twitter, I'm sorry you did not win. I will be showing you guys screenshots on screen right now of me sending those knives off, and it was very fun to host that, and really fun to give away $500 to all of you guys who are loyal viewers and fans. So thank you guys all for participating. I know we had several thousand retweets and favorites on Twitter, so I'm sorry guys, the giveaway is over if you have not won. Hopefully doing more giveaways soon in the future, but now to touch on one more topic to wrap up today's CSGO News episode. So lastly in today's CSGO News episode, guys, I'm going to talk about really quick the gambling scene. Obviously a lot of rumors involving CSGO gambling, including the FaZe and CSGO Wild ties, also Phantom Lore with CSGO Shuffle, have come out recently, and especially in the last few days, about evidence of them tying together and really coming out with a lot of drama. But honestly, I really need to steer clear of the drama right now, guys. I know a lot of you have been asking me on Twitter and all my social media to cover that kind of stuff and sending me information about that. I'm really sorry, guys. I do need to stay out of the drama, especially because I don't know the full details behind all these stories anymore. I don't want to come out and jump up, guns a-blazing and say, yo, they did this. I really want to stay uninvolved. I want to stick to CSGO News that I know for right now. I know my channel as of late has been kind of so dramatic and just including all that kind of stuff. As of right now, I want to stay out of the rumors. I want to stay out of all that gambling scene and that kind of stuff. I want to release my ties from all of that for now and just stick to CSGO News and what I do best, and that is relaying the information to all of you guys as fast as possible. So thank you guys all for the great support as of late. I am back. Now I'm going to be on vacation this next week, and the week after that, I'm going to try and upload some random videos, including, maybe a possible giveaway video, a case opening video, a setup video, and possibly a new computer unboxing video as well. So I have some really good videos planned for you guys when I'm on vacation, and hopefully when I get back, I'll start up CSGO News full time again. As always, live, love, laugh a lot. Thank you all so much for the great support. I cannot thank you guys enough. I will see you guys all next time. Remember, I like you. I'll see y'all then. You know what's coming. Goodbye, guys.